Hey there, Purpose Seekers, and welcome to the Purpose Spotlight. Each week, we'll take a few moments to shine the light on people, organization, ministries, businesses, and the stories that are making a meaningful impact in our communities. I truly believe that purpose isn't only discovered, it is demonstrated. And sometimes the greatest encouragement comes from seeing how God is using ordinary people to do extraordinary things. So if you are out there and you know someone who's making a difference, or perhaps you are making a difference, all you have to do is to reach out to us. And this can be serving in ministry, building a kingdom business, launching a nonprofit, writing a book, or simply being the hands and feet of Jesus. I would love to hear from you. Send over your stories to thepurposezoneLA at gmail.com, or you can WhatsApp and send us a message at 1-876-227-7590. We want to spotlight purpose. And so coming up next week, I look forward to sharing some incredible stories. So if you're that person, or if you know someone, all you have to do is to connect with us. Send us a WhatsApp message at 1-876-227-7590, or you can send us an email at thepurposezoneLA at gmail.com. I look forward to sharing your stories. Hi, Purpose family, and welcome to Purpose Spotlight, the segment where we highlight remarkable individuals who are making a meaningful impact through their purpose and work. I'm your host, Lady Akeelia, and today I have the pleasure of speaking with someone who has dedicated her life to helping others heal, grow, and thrive. Joining me is Dr. Pearnel S. Bell, an accomplished clinical psychologist, educator, author, and lecturer. Over the years, she has worked extensively in Jamaica's public health sector, and she has also spent decades in education, and she is the author of several books, and I'm sure she'll tell you all about that. And these books, they cover mental health, child development, and personal growth. And overall, Dr. Bell, thank you so much for joining us this morning on a Purpose Spotlight. How are you today?
I am good, Akeelia. Thank you so much for having me.
You're most welcome. Well, Doc, for the listeners who may be hearing about you for the very first time, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and the work that you've been doing in this space?
Okay, so I am a clinical psychologist, a consultant clinical psychologist. I worked with the Northeast Regional Health Authority for a number of years, and currently I'm actually the director of education at the Jamaica Psychological Society, where I actually plan and organize educational information for the public, and also for psychologists, counselors, psychiatrists, and anyone who is in mental health.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Doc. And, we want to say kudos to you and for all that you're doing in the space. But, Doc, can you just tell us, so you've served in so many capacities as you're a multifaceted individual, but what has inspired you and overall your commitment to helping people improve their mental and emotional well-being?
There is a saying in Jamaica that there is no good health without good mental health. When we think of that, if someone is not in their having all their mental faculty, whether it be cognitively or psychologically, we can see what that could do to someone. And so therefore, my goal as a clinical psychologist, as a mental health specialist, is to help people to live their best life. One way to live that is to have really very good mental and psychological health.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Doc. And in Jamaica, we have a stereotype when it comes to mental health. Is there anything that you'd love to share to enlighten our listeners?
You know what? Any one of us can experience mental illness, anybody at all, including myself, who is a therapist. And so stigma, we should really put that aside, because mental illness is just like any other illness. It could be diabetes, It could be hypertension, whatever we can think of. It is the same disorder. And someone with a mental health issue should not be afraid to seek help, just like they would go to a medical doctor. Because, as I said earlier, if we do not have our mental health intact, it is going to affect our physical health. So, you know what? Let's get rid of stigma. Let's seek good mental health. Let's practice what we call positive psychology, which is to take care of ourselves before we get to mental illness. But again, stigma should be gone, because what we need is that if we're in need of mental health, we should seek it, and we should try to prevent mental illness rather than assume stigma.
Thank you for sharing that, Doc. And you are indeed correct. So if there's anybody out there, if you need help, get the help that you need. But Doc has been doing incredible work in this space through education, psychology, writing. What would you say has been your most rewarding part of your entire journey?
You know what? I think just seeing people come in who were not in a good mental space, and to see them recover, to see them live lives that they can come in and say, well, you know what? I am feeling a lot better. I am doing a lot better. I am back to functioning, maybe not 100%, but I am up to 95%. That's where my joy comes from, where I am seeing people getting well again and back to their normal way of functioning. It is really a great joy. I like imparting knowledge too. And so in my role as educator, I write, and I also do presentations, whether it be training, teaching. Education also is a core piece of what I do and love.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Doc. And you mentioned writing. You have one of your books, Life Mosaics, which is an inspiration, a collection of reflections. I'll allow you to tell us a little bit about what inspired you to write that, and what do you want your readers to take away from it?
You know, interestingly, this book was being written 27 years ago. I was a student at the University of the West Indies, and we had a year-long course that was called Human Relations and Communications. And believe me, no other course at UWI lasted a year. And it was a course that called for introspection, self-awareness. And so, interestingly, that's what we did for the year. There wasn't really a didactic kind of lecturing. We had to read books and then look within. And then I used to make journal entries for the course assignment. And it is those journal entries that actually turned into this book, Life Mosaics, Writings and Life and Things We Ought to Know.
Awesome, powerful. Thank you for sharing that, Doc. And before I let you go, can you just tell us, for persons who want to connect with you, or if they want to get a copy of your book, how may they do so?
All right, so to get a copy of the book, any of the major bookstores in the US, Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, Books A Million, any one of those, Author House, who is the publisher of the book, and the cheapest that they can get the book to would be Author House. So any one of those bookstores, the books are available. The book is available in those bookstores.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And you can also check out Dr. Bell on social media. Can you please share your website with them as well, Doc?
Yes, my website is pearnelbellbooks.com. And once you go on that website, you will see all the work I've done over the years, including all the books I've written, which would be 10 books. I'm the author of 10 books, 6 children's books that deals with various life challenges that children may go through, loss, grief, understanding differences, understanding conflict, and so on. And then I have a teacher's guide to the disruptive behavior disorders. And this is a book that teachers can use to begin to understand disruptive behaviors in the classroom. And then my book, Life Mosaic, which is a compilation of all of these various challenges that persons may encounter in life and how they can navigate it. I also have a book of poetry, Life Words Once Unspoken, poetry inspired by friendship. Again, those are therapeutic poems that one could use to help themselves to heal from whatever life challenges that they may have. And I have a book, interestingly, Lessons I Learned from My Garden. That's going to be a very good one too, because it's all healing and growing and navigating life. Those books help us to do that.
Powerful, awesome work, Doc. Thank you so much for joining us today and for sharing your journey with our listeners. You've been doing incredible work in this space, and we just want to congratulate you on all that you've been doing, and we want to say continue the good work. Listeners, be sure to connect with Dr. Pearnel S. Bell and pick up your copy of her incredible book. So go on our website and of course, go to the bookstores respectively to get your copy. Until next time, remember that purpose isn't something you find, it is something you choose to live every single day. I'm Lady Akeelia, and this has been Purpose Spotlight on the Purpose Zone. Don't touch that dial. If you are out there and you wish to connect with us right here in the Purpose Zone on Align Radio, all you have to do is to send us a WhatsApp message at 1-876-227-7590 or send us an email at thepurposezoneLA@gmail.com. We look forward to sharing your story, and please do listen the station at alignradio.org and follow us on all socials at Align Radio FM. Welcome to the family. See you soon.